Let's take another look at our top stories this hour. An elaborate prisoner swap at an airport in Abu Dhabi. American basketball star Brittany Griner is on her way home after being released from a Russian penal colony in exchange for an arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death. It's been at the centre of international concerns about a potential nuclear disaster. We have been meeting people who've been fleeing some of the ongoing shelling at a centre in Ukraine for the internally displaced. And fit and firing again, Neymar is back in action as five-time champions Brazil seek to become the first team through to the World Cup semi-finals. They're kicking off against 2018 runners-up Croatia, while South American rivals Argentina take on the Netherlands later. Time now for a look at the day's top business stories, and for that I'm joined here in studio by Brian Quinn from our business desk. Well, US regulators are hitting the pause button on a major acquisition by tech giant Microsoft. Brian, I think you can tell us a little bit more about what's happening there.
Well, Sharon, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission has filed actually a formal complaint aimed at halting Microsoft's planned takeover of Activision. Now, Activision is the gaming studio behind hits such as Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush. The $69 billion deal was to be the largest acquisition in Microsoft history. Regulators, though, worry that it would put the tech giant, which makes the Xbox console, in a position of too much power to withhold popular game titles from competitors' gaming systems. Microsoft says it plans to fight the FTC in court. Activision's CEO, meanwhile, says he's confident that the deal will eventually go through. Chinese President Xi Jinping, meanwhile, is in Saudi Arabia for a 3-day visit. That's his first in 6 years. Xi arrived Wednesday to a red carpet reception in Riyadh ahead of talks on Thursday with both King Salman and his son, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. At the end of those meetings, a signing ceremony for $30 billion worth of deals, including data centers in the kingdom for Chinese tech giant Huawei, along with investment contracts for green energy, transport, and construction. China is seeking to bolster its economy, which has been hit hard by recent COVID lockdowns, while the Saudis are looking to diversify their economy away from dependence on their alliance with the U.S. Here's Xi on Thursday.
The CPC will push forward the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation in an all-round way through the Chinese-style modernization and provide new opportunities for Saudi Arabia and other countries in the world through China's new development. China will move forward together with Saudi Arabia in national revitalization and promoting greater development of the China-Saudi strategic partnership.
Time now for a check on the markets. Asian indexes gained on Friday as investors took in the latest Chinese inflation data, which came in mostly in line with expectations. Producer prices were down 1.3% in November, while consumer prices were up 1.6%. Most analysts saying inflation is not that much of a problem in China, unlike here in the West. Well, Beijing's sudden U-turn on its zero-COVID policies helped to boost shares in the real estate and tech sectors in Hong Kong, especially where the Hang Seng finished up some 2.4%. Shanghai up around 1/3%. The Nikkei in Tokyo ending the day up right around 1.2%, as we see here. European indexes, meanwhile, starting the day in positive territory on the heels of a winning session for Wall Street Thursday. Basic resources leading the way here in Europe. Investors, though, remaining cautious ahead of new U.S. inflation data, which is due out Friday. All major indexes are up around 1/4 to 1/3% at the open. And finally, for business, the combined impacts of the war in Ukraine, climate change, and the energy crisis are hitting agriculture hard. In Italy, they're even threatening the national dish, pasta. In addition to being a top consumer of pasta, Italy is also the world's #1 producer. Its pasta sector, though, in crisis. Our correspondents in Italy sent this report.
For over 50 years, Saverio de Molla and his family have been cultivating wheat on their 500-hectare farm in Puglia, the most important region for cereal production in Italy. The costs of cultivating this crop have rocketed since the beginning of the year.
Negli ultimi mesi Over the last few months, we've been subjected to an uncontrollable increase in prices for fuel, but also the price of fertilizer. We've seen price rises of up to 400% for fertilizer.
Saverio is one of the 30,000 wheat farmers of the region. As the seeds are sown for next year's harvest, he worries about the future of grain production. An apprehension shared by many of the local farmers. A crisis meeting is taking place in the offices of the principal agricultural trade association. The objective, to understand the causes of inflation, to limit the impact.
Russia and Ukraine are the largest producers of fertilizers. They have blocked exports, and so the price of fertilizers has gone sky high. In addition, the drought of 2021 meant that Canada reduced by half the production of wheat that we import.
As a result, an overall increase in the price of wheat, which also affects businesses involved in processing the cereal that are already shaken by the rise in energy costs.
This is the machine we use to dry the pasta. It's the most energy-consuming machine we have here. It uses up to 7 kilowatts.
Around 200 kilos of pasta are made in this factory every day. Here, the electricity bill has tripled since January.
It's not just the increase in our electricity bills, it's a bit of everything. Our suppliers have increased the price of semolina flour, which is our most important raw material. The price has doubled in a few months. The cardboard boxes have also doubled in price, and packaging has increased by 30%.
In Italy, more than 10,000 people work in industrial pasta production, a sector that will be under threat if the price of raw materials and energy continue to rise.
Sharon, if the Italians are cutting back on pasta, you know we're in trouble. It's getting quite serious here.
Hopefully it won't affect pizza, Brian. Thanks so much for that. That's Brian Quinn from our business desk. Well,